Welcome back to another Creative Finance Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Jen, and today I'm sitting down with Yasha, who is a fellow real estate investor, mama, wife, all the things, and we're going to dive into how do we do it all, which, spoiler alert, we don't do it all. We definitely have teams of people helping us out. So, Yasha, thanks for coming back on today. I am so excited that we're here in St. Augustine, beautiful town. Your city is gorgeous. Can't wait to get into Jacksonville tomorrow, tomorrow I'm going to be on a panel with you, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But I just want to have an open coffee chat about how women are able to really find the time and still meet all these expectations, especially with 4 kids. I have 2, we homeschool. But, just kind of want to peel back the curtains and get real with all the ladies out there who are listening and maybe thinking, man, I do want to build some wealth with my family, but I also don't want to give up being the parts of being a mom and all the things that, make us tick. So I don't know where to start with this one, but my gosh, you've got kids ages
3 to 16.
yeah. So when you first started getting into the real estate world, especially investing, would you say that there was a certain part of a team member or family that you had to kind of rely on so that you could go after some of these dreams that were inside?
I would really say the first part of that is my husband is a big part of it because he's also an entrepreneur. So that makes life a lot easier and also a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I think because he can understand and relate a lot more, that helps a little bit. But really leaning on my family. My mother-in-law lives right behind me, literally. So she's actually even picking up the kids today and tomorrow because of our event. And so it just makes my life a lot easier. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Yeah, well, I feel some people don't have that option, but even if they do, was there any sort of guilt that you had asking for the help? Because I feel like I run into that. I did for a while. I can do it all myself, and I realized that you can't.
Yes.
And so how did you kind of, break that barrier?
Yeah, I definitely had that guilt, especially when my kids were a lot younger. Definitely had that guilt. But honestly, I had to look at it from a perspective of I'm doing this for our family. And so that way my kids don't have to be doing the ground zero work and, pick up wherever we leave off. So that was kind of how I had to shift my mindset. I think mindset's the biggest part of all of this is you don't have to do it all if you don't want to, but you can if you do.
Yeah, and we were just chatting before we started filming, even right down to, you cook your meals, you meal plan. So, there's still things that, you don't have to give up because I love being in the kitchen. And
Me
that's
too.
kind of I'll pour a glass of wine, start cooking and kind of relax. That's definitely one thing I love. But at the same time, I do love running a business and working with my husband and, being able to do all those things. But some things have to give. So are there other areas where you've learned to kind of hire some extra help, like house cleaners or outsourcing, stuff like that?
Oh, yes. So definitely have to get a house cleaner. That's 101 right there. That was the first hire that we made. And then, of course, your outside stuff, your lawn care and all of that. But then really this year I dialed it in with having an organizer because I felt not just having the house cleaner was the main piece, but someone to keep everything else organized and actually do the little things that were so tedious that pile up on us and just decluttering. So that was a big game changer for me. And she comes over at least once a week on the weekends. And then maybe even sometimes every other week.
Their job is just to come in and organize.
Literally.
This is news to me.
I was like, whoa, this is, and so I started referring this person out, and they hopefully are getting a lot of business.
Oh my gosh. So this is your kid stuff is all has
Yes.
a place and she just gets rid of things that are just
yeah, she's gone through every room in my house except for my office because I was I keep that pretty on point. But outside of that, toys, the playroom, each kid's room, even my own bedroom, I still have a pile of stuff that I'm okay, I need to let these items go or donate them, but I'm trying to have a little party with my friends where they can shop through my stuff.
There you go. Well, that's awesome. I never even thought of that. That's definitely, I think when we did the big move, my organizer was literally just the dumpster outside. It was cut ties with it, donate it, or it fits in the pod. But I would see if once we were there for a while, I could definitely use that. That's amazing. I love that concept of somebody coming in and organizing your stuff. Similar, I have a house manager, but she's more like hands-on with the kids, like just in case they need like a pizza in the oven or running them to an errand or something like that. She'll also do Instacart. Do you Instacart? Or
Yes.
do you still, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I do. Instacart's my best friend.
Yeah. And if you're listening, you're like, "Oh, okay, ladies, like I'm not even there yet," then like Yasha said, start with a house cleaner.
Yes.
I think that was the game changer for us when we started building some momentum with the rent to own properties. Joe's working crazy hours, and I just couldn't keep up with the little kids and cleaning everything. And I don't know, because your house is messy, you get cluttered, and it's just like you can't even think straight.
Yes. Yes.
So don't feel bad about whatever it might cost in your area, 150, $200, like shop around, but there's some amazing people out there that'll come in and take that off of your plate. Because really, I know the book just came out not long ago, but Buy Back Your Time, Dan
Yes.
Martell. Have you read
Oh,
it?
yes. Yes. I read it after you recommended it.
Man, it's tough. And I still need the reminders because you'll find yourself doing things that aren't moving the needle forward in your business. You're not working on income producing tasks, which in our line of work, you need to be talking to sellers, you need
Yes.
the leads coming in, you need to be showing properties, you need to be making sure like all systems are a go. You can't be worrying about like, did I run out of eggs?
Yes. Or did I put that on dry?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So these little hacks for sure. And then as far as staying organized, are you a paper planner girl or do you like your electronics?
Oh yeah, I'm a tech girly, like through and through. So I live and die by my Google Calendar. That's just how I have to keep my life organized because I have so many other people I have to consider with things. So
Yeah.
yeah, everything's on there.
See, I'm not alone. I always recommend the Google Calendar. We did not have one until we started in 2020, where I realized like if it wasn't on a calendar, Joe doesn't know it existed. And so
Yes.
now if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't get done.
Yes,
So
100%.
yeah. So if you're still trying to like learn the tech stuff, definitely start with like, get a Gmail, get on Google
Yes.
Calendar. It's so easy, and you can color code everything.
Yes, I love that
And that's
part.
what I always say too. I'm like, if you got a Zoom call you need to attend, put it on the calendar with the link. No excuses.
Yes.
Just like show up right there.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I love that we connected a few years back at the Wire Community Retreat with Grace and Amelia. They're just shout out. They're
Yes.
fantastic. And it was just such a safe spot. I remember, I came out and I'm usually the early riser, and you were already out there, laptop open, working away. And I was like, wow, like the drive and dedication. Like, can you speak to any of that? Like, what gets you up like early and just, you were out there before anyone else is already at it.
I know. Oh my goodness. So I would say really, it's just that I think as a busy working mom, like having that quiet time to myself to just before the phone starts ringing, before all the notifications start going off, like it was just having that moment to myself. Those are the moments I enjoy. I enjoy them very early and I enjoy them at night.
Yeah, it's like the bookend of
Yes.
your day. I love that
Yes.
too. Are you definitely more of a night or a morning person versus the night owl?
Yes, if I could, I think at one point I was getting up at like 3 a.m. Yeah, and I was probably a little crazy back then, but I just really enjoyed that time so much. And then I was also doing like CrossFit too, so I was like, okay, we have to figure all the things out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That 3 is early.
I know I don't do it anymore. I
Oh
was like,
man, I
just
can't say I've done that. I mean, 5 would probably be my earliest.
yeah.
Accidentally, it's 4:30 maybe, but prioritize sleep. I think that's important
Yes,
for
no,
sure.
definitely agree.
Oh my goodness. So tomorrow we are speaking on an investor panel at a ladies event. So I'd love to have you share a little bit more about that. Maybe there'll be another one in the future, but kind of speak to how this event came to be and what it's going to be like.
Yes, so we have the Empower Her event tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. We have like amazing women like yourself and others that are coming across the state of Florida and even outside of Florida coming to share a day for women empowerment, mostly focused around real estate. And we have some amazing speakers also lined up to just help you if you're looking for some more organization within your life and looking to just organize and just take back control of your schedule, just all the things. It's going to be so great, and I can't wait to share the stage with you.
Yeah, and you said your friend had reached out and said she wanted to kind of put together like a women's only. Is there some sort of backstory to that, or
There might
no
be.
anti-men, of course.
Yes,
Well,
no
I love my
anti.
hubby, but
Yes. So there is, and she'll definitely be sharing a little bit more tomorrow about that. because just being in the real estate industry, I think we're always sometimes dominated by men in this field. And so we thought this would be like a special opportunity to just have it as women only. And so we can create that safe space for people to just share and be open and hopefully change someone else's life in the room.
Yeah, I love that so much. 'Cause like I said, we connected at the women's retreat because it was just there's no shouting or peacocking or like
Yes.
everybody's kind of like, well, look at me because we
Yeah.
just went to a mastermind, which I love being a part of, but it is all the bros
Yes.
and they're just all in there with their blazers or whatever, and it's fine and all, but there's just a space and place where sometimes just being a woman and we have our I don't know, we're very feminine, we love being girly, but also like there's we take our job seriously,
Yes.
and I feel like sometimes too, like we can as investors, like and an agent even, but like just connecting with some of these sellers that they're in these hard points of their lives and their situations, whether it's like a hoarder house or they're behind on their mortgage payments, and sometimes I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like women can just
Yeah.
be a little bit softer place to land than
Yes.
some of these bros are just like coming in for the cash deal or,
Yes.
like trying to like, do another deal. And I know there's men not like that. My husband is definitely not like that. But, I just love the women's space here because it's just so often that we don't have as big of a voice. And so I'm excited to, you're definitely giving me ideas, I guess, as far as
Yes.
like, okay, like, what else can we do here? Especially in the creative space. I feel
Yes.
like there's a lot of women who are wanting to buy more properties. They want to know the right way, and they don't have a spouse on board or even have a spouse that, and you don't need one. I think that, I mean, yes, Joe and I are married, we do that, but you don't have to have any of that. You just have to be able to talk to people and have
Yeah.
the right education. And
Yes. 100%. I mean, I remember even, just recently coming to like some of your support calls and, venting and saying like, "Oh man, I'm like, what do you do, Jen?" Because I'm like, me and my husband are just not seeing eye to eye on this. And I think really I just had to say, well, if this is something I want to do personally, then I'm just going to have to take the risk on my own
mhm.
and just be okay with whatever happens after that. So,
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of funny because I flip flopped, right? Like he was the one that came to me with this idea, and I'm like, "You're crazy. Who's
yes.
gonna let us take over their mortgage payment? That's never gonna happen. I'm an English teacher. Numbers aren't my thing."
Yeah.
And that was the old Jen. And so proof is in the pudding. You can change. You can
Yes.
definitely find a different path, honestly. And I am so grateful that we have. So, and the way I got here was he allowed me, he gave me that space to, okay, well, you don't have to, jump in the car today, but when you do, like I'm already driving and like I'm going to be playing all these audios that you're going to listen to whether you like it or not. And it was really truly the vision too of like, why would we be doing this? And
Yes.
if I had a crystal ball and I could see like, oh, you'd be in St. Augustine with this awesome woman Yasha and you'd go speak on a panel and inspire other women. If you showed me that 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But
Yes.
I just think that it's important to take the chances, learn, be around the people, get inspired, and just get educated. I think that was like the biggest thing too. Is I got my master's degree in English and I don't use it,
Hey,
and
I
that's
don't use my
okay.
degree either. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, and I think that it's awesome. We can do it all
Yes.
with the team of people. Earlier you were talking on the other podcast about a VA, a virtual assistant. So I kind of want to share that too, because sometimes I was scared to get one at first. So can you maybe share a little bit about what she might do with your businesses, how she helps you in behind the scenes kind of
Well, first I want to say like thank you for even like just pushing me to get one
thing?
because I've had VAs in the past before working with you and Joe, but they didn't work out and then I never really like wanted to explore that again, but I said, "You know what? They have been successful with this and I can do it too and there might be a couple of failed attempts, but we're just going to figure it out." So yeah, but what my VA does, she does literally all of my social media stuff. She does the stuff that we're going to even have for tomorrow at the event. And it's always like, okay, what task is not going to move the needle for me
hmm
that can be outsourced or done by someone else just as good? It might not be perfect, but it can be done. And honestly, I'm actually so glad to like offload a lot of even just the creative things sometimes because I only see things in one way
hmm
where she surprises me all the time and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was so good." And it's so great to like message her or send her a voice memo and say, oh my gosh, I love what you did. Thank you for, stepping outside the box, because I honestly didn't know what she was going to come up with, but she definitely takes a chance sometimes with some of the marketing that I do, and it's awesome.
That is great. Now, where did you find her?
I found her on online.ph, which you guys also recommended. I attended some of your, I think as soon as I joined your coaching program, that was one of the first calls that I attended with Joe, and it was live, and he was doing all these interviews. And I was like, okay, this is what I have to do. And so, and along the way, even though I was scared, I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to afford, this person? Can I keep them busy? That was like my
Mm-hmm.
other question that I had. But I honestly find so much stuff for her to do. And it's made me a lot happier, and so I don't have to stress about like the little things anymore, and I can focus on like the big picture and speaking to more sellers and just getting out there and doing more deals versus like, oh, I need to do this post.
Yeah.
And because I'll forget, honestly, sometimes I don't want to be on social media.
Well, it is a lot. And we were talking about that too. It's just like the creating the content and getting it out there. And then, oh, yeah, we're supposed to be doing deals, right? So
Yeah.
it can be so much to handle. And I was very reserved. Joe and I, we only at first did 1099, commission based only, like American. And then we realized that if you have any sort of Zoom or WhatsApp channel. I'm not sure how you use to communicate. And then I got into Asana, and then it was like game over. Like that
Yeah.
project management has just been phenomenal for me to be able to communicate with my virtual assistants, and it changes their lives too. From the
Yes.
Philippines,
Yes.
$5, $6, $7 an hour, whatever you're paying, like they're able to make the amount that a doctor makes over there.
Yes.
So it still
I
blows my
know.
mind.
That would, for me, it's also like a special place because I am half Filipino. And so I was like, oh man, I get to like impact someone's life that's not here. And that's also part of like my nationality. So that was like a big part for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you communicate, would you say then?
So we do everything by Monday.com and Zoom, and also recommended by you. It's like the Google Chat.
Yeah.
So I love that. So just
Yeah.
drop things in there as they come, or just communicate back and forth. But those are the primary methods that we communicate on.
Yeah, I would say if you could stick to less is more. Sometimes
Yes.
we were in Google and WhatsApp, and like
Yes.
we were like, we need to streamline our systems here. But that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, and sometimes too, it's just like you just find people that don't work for whatever reason, and it's no harm, no foul. And that's what
Yeah.
I always say too. Is like when you're hiring for your team, some people will work out and some won't, and it
Yeah.
just is what it is. You've got to find the right person for the right seat, and
Yes.
have a running list of things. If you're listening, like, okay, so I might want a $4 or $5 an hour virtual assistant. Like, what tasks are you doing that you hate? And like you said, you might even forget to do. You're running out of time, or you just like, I just don't have the bandwidth to come up with something creative. Like, start generating those lists, and you'd be surprised, like you can literally outsource so many things to a virtual assistant, especially some of them, they speak English very well.
Yes.
They will do their own training. I've got one girl on my team. She's like, oh, I just attended this social media boot camp thing, and
Oh,
she was
that's
teaching
awesome.
us stuff. And I'm like, well, let me know. I'll pay for this, And so you find the right people. And so
Yes.
I'm so glad that you were able to too.
Yes, me too. And I did start off with two, but one of them didn't work out. But I was like, okay, this is okay because I do have someone who is, I train them both to do the same job. And so because that one person didn't work out, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. So it's definitely, so you've got virtual assistant on your team. You and your husband kind of learned how to divide and conquer as far as
Yes.
what your roles are.
Yes.
And have you put the kids to work yet?
A little bit, yes. My daughter will be at the event tomorrow. She'll be managing like the audio and all the things up top. But yes, she comes with me all the time. And my son, my older son, he loves to like do any like video type of stuff. So that's kind of where he's at right now. But he's still learning. He's in like a Cinemark club. So.
And the 3-year-old just probably smiles for the photos.
Yep. Literally just runs around,
Oh my goodness. Well, any advice for mamas out there that you could say, like they're looking to get into some investing, but they just don't even know what's the first thing that they should even focus on?
Really, even going back to like the last episode is like defining what your buy box is. I think that has become like the clearest thing over time, and you might not get it right out of the gate, especially if you want to invest in your own back door or backyard. And so really figuring out what that could look like, and then just kind of going from there, like taking the action, exploring like what education you can figure out or find out or who you can learn from. Like those things are going to impact you the most. And if you're a lifelong learner like me and you, like we just love to learn. And so just connecting with those people that can help you along the way,
Yeah.
are going to be important.
Awesome. Well, if you're in the
Yeah.
Jacksonville area or anywhere in Florida, like make sure you're following Yasha over here. Instagram is
Yeah,
what hand
Yasha Wells.
we'll have it below there, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. But we kind of focus on the girl time today, which I'm so excited. Please stay tuned. We're going to have more episodes coming to you. We'll share a little bit more behind the scenes of what tomorrow was like once this airs. I'll have more to share. But it is time, ladies. If you're sitting on the sideline, stop. Come on over. Come hang out. Find us on Instagram. There's plenty of communities on Facebook. Creative Finance Playbook with Jen and Joe. I promise Joe is not one of the bros. Our support calls are full of women who are just taking the messy, massive action. We're doing it scared. I was chatting with one lady the other day, and she said, "Hey, like I'm a little nervous. This is so new to me. Creative is just out of my wheelhouse. I've read every book, but I'm ready now, and I'm scared." And I said, "You're in the right spot because we all are scared at some point, and we just jump in together, and we've got your back." So make sure that you subscribe, follow along, and until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.